France scored 4 goals against a Norway side that, let's be honest, didn't even want to win. Spain scraped through against a Uruguay team that played like they were trying to start a fight rather than score a goal. And tonight, Portugal faced the most important match of their entire World Cup campaign, because if they finish second in Group K, their road to the final gets dramatically harder. 3 stories, all of them massive. Let's break every single one down. France beat Norway 4-1 at Boston Stadium on June 26th. But before we even talk about the tactics, let's address the elephant in the room. Norway were not trying to win this match. Let me be completely clear about that. Norway made 10 changes to their entire lineup, leaving both Erling Haaland and Martin Odegaard completely unused on the substitutes bench. Their 2 best players at a World Cup sitting in tracksuits watching from the sideline. Why? Because Norway were already qualified and Haaland's manager made a calculated decision. Finishing second in the group was actually the preferred outcome. The draw is kinder to them in the knockout bracket as group runners-up. So Norway essentially showed up with a reserve team, accepted they were going to take a beating, and protected their key players for what comes next. Smart long-term thinking, but it means France's performance needs to be seen with that full context in mind. With that context established, France were still ruthlessly clinical. They set up in their 4-3-3 and pressed Norway's reserve defenders from the very first second. Mbappe hit the bar inside 22 seconds, literally before most people had even sat down. The tactical blueprint was simple but devastating. Overload Norway's right side, force Dembélé into one-on-one situations, and let him do what he does. Dembélé scored in the 7th and 20th minutes by finding the exact same bottom corner both times. Same run, same angle, same finish. Norway's stand-in right back never adjusted once. Never once tried a different approach. Osgaard pulled one back for Norway at 21 minutes to briefly make it 2-1, but Dembélé completed his hat trick inside 32 minutes, and the game was essentially dead at halftime. This was only the second first-half hat trick in World Cup history. The only other was Oleg Salenko against Cameroon in 1994. Norway did win a second-half penalty, but Strand Larsson's weak, stuttered spot kick was comfortably saved by Maignan. The perfect metaphor for Norway's half-hearted night. Doué added a 4th in injury time to complete the scoreline. The bottom line on France, yes, they scored 4. Yes, Dembélé was brilliant, but they were playing against a team that had already checked out mentally before kickoff. The real test of France comes in the knockouts. Spain beat Uruguay 1-0 in Guadalajara. But the scoreline tells you nothing about how ugly this actually was. Uruguay didn't come to play football. They came to physically intimidate, bully, and disrupt every single Spain player on that pitch. Bielsa set them up to be aggressive, and aggressive they were. Late challenges, constant fouling, Yamal being hacked down repeatedly. Spain struggled to cope with it for long stretches, and the XG numbers back that up. Just 0.86 for Spain and 0.20 for Uruguay. Neither team created much of anything. The decisive moment came right before halftime. Llorente whipped in a cross, Baena fired a shot on the swivel, and Muslera, the 40-year-old goalkeeper Bielsa controversially brought out of retirement, got 2 hands to it and still couldn't keep it out. Brutal, and it wasn't a one-off either. Muslera was arguably at fault for all 4 goals Uruguay conceded at this entire World Cup. Bielsa hauled him off at halftime, a damning public verdict on his own decision. The second half just got uglier. Ugarte stretchered off in tears. Valverde substituted before the hour, and then Canobio, and in stoppage time, launched a wild studs-up lunge on Cubarsi, got his red card, and then grabbed the referee by the shirt. An absolute disgrace. Uruguay's World Cup ended in complete chaos, and Bielsa's post-match words said it all. I gave Uruguayan football nothing. Now let's talk about tonight, because this is the most important match Portugal will play until the knockouts. Both teams are already through, but that's almost irrelevant. What matters is who finishes first. The Group K winner gets a 3rd-place team in the round of 32, one of the weakest opponents left. The runner-up potentially faces a major nation straight away. For Portugal, finishing second could mean a heavyweight opponent before they've even reached the quarterfinals. That is a path they cannot afford. Colombia lead Group K with 6 points. Portugal sit on 4, meaning Colombia only need a draw tonight to top the group. Portugal need a win. Nothing else will do. Tactically, it sets up perfectly. Portugal dominate possession, build through their world-class midfield, and rely on Leão's pace and Ronaldo's movement to unlock Colombia's defense. Ronaldo has already scored twice this tournament and will be desperate for more tonight. Colombia do the complete opposite. Sit deep, stay compact, and hit Portugal on the counter through Luis Diaz and James Rodriguez. James hasn't scored yet this tournament, and tonight feels exactly like his kind of stage. The midfield battle between Lerma and Puerta against Rodri and Pedri will decide everything. Whoever controls that zone controls this match. Here's my prediction, and I'll be honest, this one is genuinely difficult to call. Colombia don't need to win. They're set up perfectly to absorb pressure and nick a goal on the counter. But Portugal under pressure, with Ronaldo on the pitch and a favorable draw on the line, are a dangerous team. My gut says Colombia hold on for a draw, top the group, and Portugal spend the rest of the night regretting every chance they didn't take. But if Ronaldo turns up in the way he did against Uzbekistan, all bets are off. That's Norway's deliberate second-place strategy, Uruguay's brutal self-destruction, and everything you need to know about tonight's Colombia versus Portugal Group K decider. Fully broken down. Who wins tonight? Drop your prediction in the comments right now. I'll be back tomorrow with the full match breakdown once the final whistle goes. Subscribe for daily World Cup coverage, and I'll see you in the next one.